Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. To make this sweater you will need a weight 3 yarn and a 6mm hook. In this tutorial I make a size small to medium. For all other sizes check out my blog crochetwithcarrie.com. So this is the yarn I used. It's Paintbox Simply DK and I used about 5 balls for a size small to medium. So we're going to start off with our back panel and we're going to chain 74. Then we're going to double crochet into the 4th chain from the hook and then continue placing 1 double crochet into every chain to the end. At the end of the row, chain 3 and then turn your work. This chain 3 counts as your first double crochet, so around the next double crochet make a front post double crochet. Then into the next stitch make a back post double crochet. And then you're going to repeat that all the way across, alternating between a front post double crochet and a back post double crochet. Here I am at the end of the row. We're going to make a back post double crochet and then into that very last stitch, which is on top of your chain 3, we're just going to make 1 double crochet. So you're going to repeat this row a further 3 more times. So we're going to begin by chaining 3, turn your work, then we're going to make a front post double crochet, then into the next stitch we're going to make a back post double crochet, and you're going to alternate between a front post double crochet and a back post double crochet all the way across, making sure to place 1 double crochet on top of your chain 3. So go ahead and do 3 more rows. So altogether you have 5 rows completed. So here I have 5 rows completed. So for the next row we're going to chain 1 and then turn our work. This chain 1 does not count as a stitch. So into that very first stitch place 1 half double crochet and then place 1 half double crochet into every stitch all the way across. At the end of the row, chain 3 and then turn your work. This chain 3 counts as your first double crochet. So into the next stitch place 1 double crochet, then we're going to yarn over, insert your hook around the post of that double crochet, pull your yarn through, yarn over, insert your hook around that double crochet again, pull your yarn through, then yarn over, insert your hook around that double crochet once more, pull your yarn through. You should have 7 loops on your hook. So we're going to yarn over, pull your hook through the first 6 loops. So now you have 2 loops on your hook, then yarn over and pull through 2. So that's your first bead stitch done. So we're going to skip the next stitch and then bead stitch into the next. And we're going to repeat that all the way across. We're going to skip 1, bead stitch into the next, skip one, bead stitch into the next, and we're going to repeat that all the way across. So here I am at the end of the row. I have 2 stitches left, so we're going to skip the next, and then into that last stitch place 1 double crochet. At the end of this row, chain 1 and then turn your work. This chain 1 does not count as a stitch. Into that very first stitch place 1 half double crochet, and then make 1 half double crochet in every stitch all the way across. Then you're going to do 2 more rows of half double crochet. So altogether you're going to have 3 rows of half double crochet. So here I have my 3 rows of half double crochet completed. So next you're going to repeat the last 4 rows a further 9 more times. And then you're going to do 1 more row of bead stitch, and then you're going to end with 1 row of half double crochet. Once you have that done, we're going to fasten off. The front panel is made the same way as the back panel, but this time we're just going to do 9 rows of the bead stitch. And then we're going to end with 3 rows of half double crochet. So next we're going to count 26 stitches in and then place a stitch marker into that 26th stitch. And continuing on from where we are now, we're going to chain 3 and then turn our work. This chain 3 counts as our first double crochet. So into the next stitch, make a bead stitch, and then you're going to skip 1, bead stitch into the next, skip 1, bead stitch into the next, and you're going to repeat that until you're the second stitch away from your stitch marker. So here I've placed my last bead stitch into the second stitch from the stitch marker. So we're going to remove that stitch marker, and then into that stitch place 1 double crochet. For the next row, chain 1 and then turn your work. Then we're going to half double crochet 2 together, then place 1 half double crochet into every stitch all the way across. Now be careful when you reach the end of the row that you're not skipping any stitch. It's very easy to miss this stitch on top of your bead stitch, so place a half double crochet there, and then your last half double crochet is on top of your chain 3. So next, chain 1 and then turn your work, and then half double crochet into every stitch all the way across. For the next row, chain 1 and then turn your work, half double crochet 2 together, and then half double crochet into every stitch all the way across. At the end of the row, chain 3 and then turn your work. Bead stitch into the next stitch, skip the next stitch and then bead stitch into the next. So you're going to repeat that all the way across by skipping one stitch and bead stitch into the next. When you reach the end of the row, we're going to end with one double crochet into that last stitch. At the end of this row, chain 1 and then turn your work, and then half double crochet into every stitch all the way across. Then when you reach the end of this row, we're going to fasten off. So now your front panel should look like this. I've just fastened off. So now we're going to start working on the other side. So now we're going to count 26 stitches in from the other side and then attach our yarn to that 26th stitch. So once your yarn is attached, insert your hook, pull your yarn through and then chain 3. Then we're going to bead stitch into the next stitch, then skip the next stitch and bead stitch into the next. So repeat that by skipping one stitch and then bead stitch into the next all the way across, and then you're going to place one double crochet into your last stitch. Here I am at the end of the row. I have 2 stitches left, so I'm going to place one double crochet into that last stitch. For the next row, chain 1 and then turn your work. Then we're going to half double crochet all the way across until 2 stitches remain. When you have 2 stitches left, we're going to half double crochet 2 together. Then chain 1 and turn your work. Then half double crochet into every stitch all the way across. For the next row, chain 1 and then turn your work. Then half double crochet until 2 stitches remain. When you have 2 stitches remaining, we're going to half double crochet 2 together. Then chain 3 and turn your work. Then you're going to do a row of bead stitch, so bead stitch into the next stitch, then skip 1, bead stitch into the next, and you're going to repeat that all the way across, ending the row with 1 double crochet. At the end of the row, chain 1 and then turn your work. Then half double crochet all the way across, and then we're going to fasten off. So now your front panel should look like this. So we're going to put this to one side and we're going to start working on our sleeves. For the sleeves, we're going to chain 34. Then double crochet into the 4th chain from the hook. And then double crochet into every chain to the end. For the next row, chain 3 and then turn your work. This chain 3 counts as your first double crochet. Into the next stitch, we're going to do a front post double crochet. Then we're going to do a back post double crochet into the next stitch, and we're going to repeat that all the way across, alternating between a front post double crochet and a back post double crochet. And then you're going to place 1 double crochet into that very last stitch, and you're going to repeat this row a further 3 more times. So now the cuff of your sleeve should look like this. So for the next row, chain 1 and then turn your work, and we're going to half double crochet into every stitch all the way across. At the end of the row, chain 3 and then turn your work. And now we're going to do a row of bead stitch, so we're going to bead stitch into the next stitch, then skip 1, bead stitch into the next, and we're going to end the row with 1 double crochet. So here I am at the end of the row. I have 2 stitches left, so skip the next and then double crochet into that last stitch. And for the next row, we're going to chain 1 and then turn our work. Into that first stitch, we're going to place 2 half double crochets. Then place 1 half double crochet into every stitch all the way across until 1 stitch remains. Then place 2 half double crochets into that last stitch. Chain 1 and then turn your work. And now we're going to half double crochet into every stitch all the way across. At the end of the row, chain 1 and then turn your work. Into that very first stitch, place 2 half double crochet. Then place 1 half double crochet into every stitch all the way across until 1 stitch remains. Place 2 half double crochets into that last stitch. So you're going to repeat those last 4 rows over and over again until you have a total of 44 stitches. So once you have 44 stitches, your sleeve will look like this. So from now on, we're not going to do any increases. So your next row is going to be a bead stitch row, and then you're going to do 3 rows of half double crochet. And you're going to repeat these 4 rows over and over again until your entire sleeve measures about 17 to 18 inches long. When your sleeve measures about 17 inches long, we're going to fasten off, leaving a long tail. And then you're going to go ahead and make a second sleeve. So now you're going to lay your front panel on top of your back panel, and with a yarn needle and some yarn, we're going to sew across each of the shoulders. Then we're going to lay the entire piece out flat with the wrong side facing up. Then you're going to place a stitch marker into the middle stitch of our sleeve, and we're going to attach that stitch marker to the shoulder seam. So just make sure that your stitch marker is lined up with that shoulder seam. And then we're going to use our tail and our yarn needle, and we're going to sew all the way across. And we're going to do the same on the other side. Then we're going to fold our sweater over, and we're going to sew underneath the sleeve and then down along the edges. Now we're going to turn our sweater the right side out, and we're going to attach our yarn over here at the shoulder seam, and we're going to double crochet all the way around this neckline. Once your yarn is attached, insert your hook, pull your yarn through, and then chain 3. This chain 3 counts as your first double crochet. Now at the edge of every bead stitch row, I like to put 2 double crochet. And then at the edge of every half double crochet row, I place 1 double crochet. So you're going to double crochet all the way around the entire neckline. Once you've double crocheted all the way around your neckline, we're going to slip stitch into that first chain 3 to close the round. Then we're going to do 3 rows of front post and back post double crochet. So we're going to begin by chaining 3, front post double crochet around that next stitch, and then we're going to back post double crochet around the next, and we're going to repeat that all the way around. And then after this round we're going to do 2 more, and then once you have that done, we're just going to fasten off. Once you've fastened off, we're just going to weave in all our ends, and that's your sweater completed. So if you like this tutorial, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget the free written pattern is on my blog crochetwithcarrie.com. So until next time, take care.